Hey guys, welcome back to the next video. In this video, we are going to talk about user creation. So for you to access from any of your CLI mode of your AWS, you need to access a user to do that. So I will tell you about the command which you need to use to get to access the user. But firstly, we need to create a user and give him the access key. Now, access key is how you're going to access from your CLI to your AWS service, which is running over here. So for that, you need to create IAM user. So just open IAM over here. I already have a user named dev over here, which I will not be using this user. Now, there are two options here. Yeah, you can create a user and then you can, create an access key for that user and you can provide that to the AWS CLI. But if there's a requirement that you need to give the access key of your root user. So in that situation, when you are doing some kind of a management oriented script where you need the root user's access key, you can also do it, but it is not recommended and highly advised not to be using root access key. But still, for occasions like when you want to do a lot of command line scriptings and you want to do organization additions of accounts and you want to do some kind of user related activities or something beyond like what your root user only can do. In those situations, you may have to create access key for your root account. In that situation, you can go to your username and middle click your security credentials. So once your security credential loads, you're going to have an option there. Now, using this option, you can actually create the access key by clicking over here. Now, in this option would come right inside your root user account. So that's why you are going over here and clicking on security credentials. Now, do remember I've logged into my root account and that's when I have to use this option. If you log into a normal account, then you will not be able to generate the access key for root user. So for that, firstly, you need to log into the root user account, and then you need to go to your account name and then go to security credentials from there. So once you click on this, the process is the same, which I'm going to do it for a normal user. Now here, I'm going to create a user over here called AWS-CLI. So this is for exclusively accessing the CLI interface. Here, you don't have to give the management console access. So you can just leave it without enabling it. Click on next and you can actually add it part of an existing group or you can add policies directly to it. Okay, like I need administration access because I want to do administrative access over that. So I would select that and go to the next screen. Now just click on create user. This should end up creating a user. It has not created any sort of access to this user so far. So now click on that username and then we will create access to the user. Now access to the user can be through admin console. By enabling admin console, you can enable the password for admin console. So that is something we will not be using for this user because this user is generated for command line access. So for that, you have to create a access key. So you can see that access key is for programmatical calls like to AWS from AWS CLI. So CLI is also part of it. SDK is also part of it. PowerShell is also part of it. So API calls is also part of it. Likewise, you have these items. If you're using any of these methods to communicate to AWS, you have to create a access key. When you're creating an access key, there will be an option over here. What is the usage for this? I'm going to use CLI, so I've selected that particular use case in the scenario. Accept the license, accept the recommendation, and then go to the next one and then click on create key. And then you should have the access key. Now you have multiple ways of doing it. So AWS configure. Now configure is the option for AWS to configure to a specific access key. Now when you hit enter, it will be asking for an access key ID. So now I copy paste the access key ID over here and then access password over here. And then region is that the US East 1. So if you're not sure which region you're working, go to your home page. You will see North Virginia over here, and you will see US-East-1. So the same thing is what I'm giving over here, US-East-1. And the default output format is JSON. So you can give JSON as well, just give an enter. Okay. So by default, it won't be asking you these two, nor it will be coming. I've already tested this. That's why it's coming. It will say none, 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 like that it will say. So here you give US-East-1. Here you give JSON. And then you will see you will actually start to see the items, popping up. So here you don't have to give any kind of a ID or something like that, because your key ID is unique enough. It will know it has the authentication code for this particular account itself. So you don't really have to worry about it. So now what you can do is, like, you have actually logged into this user, which you have created just now using IAM. You have if you click on done, this password will be gone. Okay, so leave it as it is. Just go over to this username, middle click on that username, and you will see what kind of a permission you have for this user. That is administrator is the policy we have selected. So it's loading the policy. Give it a, just access it again. Okay, let it load. Okay, you can see the administrative access. So now that you have administrative access, we will do some action in S3 bucket. So first, let's open S3 bucket. And that's the easiest thing we can do at this level. Okay, so like we will upload a file, create a file, and upload it to one of the buckets. So you have all three buckets over here, test bucket. Now, if you don't have a bucket, just create a bucket. Just create a bucket called test bucket with your ID. And once you have the test bucket, you will see there's no file over here. So you can use commands, like simple commands, like to list the buckets on your S3. So you have three buckets over here. So you can do AWS S3, the service name, LS. So this will simply list the buckets which is part of your Amazon S3. Now you have three buckets over here. Now, what is this three buckets? So we'll take test bucket for this example. We will create a file over here called demo. So cat demo, demo. This will write the items into this file. This is a demo file. Control D. After hitting enter, just give Control D. Or you can also do vi demo and then write this content and also save and quit the file. So that's up to you. Now you can do a simple AWS S3 copy of this particular file, the demo file, to S3:/ test bucket. So this basically will copy the file from this location, from your system location, to your S3 bucket. Now if you just do a refresh over here, you'll see the demo file. Okay, so the demo file has been transferred over to this particular test bucket. Now if you want to delete this one, you can use the demo as in the name, and then you can do rm, and then you can select that particular file. So now this should be removed. Okay, very simple command to ensure that your functionalities are working from your CLI. So you can also do it from this command prompt as well. So I'm opening a command prompt on Windows. So this is my Windows command prompt over here. So just a second. So I have opened a Windows command prompt over here. So now in this Windows command prompt also, I can do this configure. So now when I hit configure, it will ask like this. So you go back to your this thing, copy the access key, paste it, copy the secret key, paste it, and then here type US-East-1. Let's confirm US East-1. So that's the one. And then JSON. So now I have logged into that, that item. So now I will be using AWS S3 LS. So I get that list. So now you can influence it. Now, why I logged into this system is because I'm going to turn off this virtual machine. So you see that EC2 virtual machine is running over here. So let's go, where is EC2? So yeah, so it's you see this server is running, and that's where we are right now. We are actually on that server. So let's turn this server off. Okay. So that's what we are going to do. So firstly, we're going to understand the instances description. So AWS EC2 describe hyphen instances, describe hyphen instances. This is going to give you the output of the the instances details over here. Just give a space bar and reach the bottom of this detail. Now, once you reach to the bottom of it, the bottom has very important information. Your public IP address. Let's compare if this is the public IP address. So if you just go over here, edit the session, you can see 52.55.22.203. And that's the same thing over here, the internal IP address. And what is important is this instance ID. This is what is important. Now, what is this? This is basically your instance ID. So this is the one. So you see this instance ID, right? So it is the one. So if you want to control like stopping the instance, so you have to use the instance ID for it. Let's see what happens when I run AWS EC2 stop hyphen instance with the instance ID. I need to give the instance ID, which is hyphen instance hyphen IDs. Okay. And then I paste the ID over here and hit enter. Now, sorry, that's an instance S. So now you should see this turning off. You can see that this system will power off, and you were able to shut down the instance from here. So there are so many options you can run as part of your EC2. Like you can create instance, you can create a lot of other things, options, which part of your EC2 instances. So likewise, you can do so many other options. And if you want to know about a specific service help, you can always type EC2 help. So this will give you all the options you can type for EC2. Okay, so likewise, you can just give a space and it gives you all the options over here. So likewise, you can control it. You can also start up the instance which you have shut down. So you just give start over here. Now this will not use the same IP address. So once you have started, right, so you can go to describe instance and you can get the description of that public IP address. So you can see that the public IP address has changed. So copy this public IP address, edit it, and paste it over here. Again, public IP address is basically an IP address which is given by, autonomously without your intervention, because public IP address keeps changing because you don't have a static IP address, or we call it as elastic IP address. Elastic IP is a cost binding stuff. So which means that if you take elastic IP address, you have to pay some money for you to have a static IP address on your system. So every time your system restarts, you will get a new public IP address, but your private IP address will be the same. Unfortunately, we cannot connect it to a private IP address. Okay. So this is the extra information, which is not so much required for you guys at this moment. But pretty much you were able to do some activities on your CLI. There are so many commands out there. I've just given you not even a percentage of what I've shown you was not even a percentage, because there's so many things you can do using CLI. Thank you again for watching this video. I hope this demo was helpful for you to, relax a bit between theory sessions. Thank you again. Take care.